Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how Balwinder comes to the Obrey's house in disguise and he planned to burn Rishi alive during the Dusshera festival. And Rishi apologized to Lakshmi for getting close to Malishka to make her feel jealous. So let's continue from there. During the festival at the Obrey's house, Balwinder, who is in disguise, thinks to search for someone to get inside. His friend spots him and asks that where was he? He had promised to give him wine. Balwinder says he will give him English wine if he is not caught, and his friend goes. Balwinder thinks that he is coming here in disguise since a year, and he thinks that he should get Lakshmi as the reward, and he thinks that two Ravan will be burnt today. Karishma gives compliment to Grandma that she is looking good. Grandma says at least you said it, and she asks Virendra about everyone. Virendra says everyone will come, just as they get ready. Rishi comes there. Neelam asks Rishi to get ready. Grandma asks Rishi to make Lakshmi also get ready. Rishi asks, should I make Lakshmi get ready? Grandma says naughty, and she asks if he understands. Karishma asks Grandma to say it correctly. Neelam asks that where is Ayush? Virendra says Ayush left, and Karishma says that Ayush always sings praises of Lakshmi. Rishi comes to the room and says that Lakshmi is ready. He says beautiful. Lakshmi smiles and she asks Rishi to let them go downstairs. Rishi says yes. Lakshmi says you did not change your clothes, and she asks him to change and says she will go outside. But Rishi stops her and says we will go downstairs together. Lakshmi asks if she should see Rishi changing. Rishi says yes. He then asks Lakshmi to close her eyes and says he will change and then they will go out. Lakshmi keeps her hand on her eyes. Rishi gets ready and asks Lakshmi to see. Lakshmi asks Rishi to get ready first. Rishi says he has changed the clothes. Lakshmi looks at Rishi and says that they are twinning with each other, and a song plays in the background. Lakshmi says to Rishi that you are looking good. Rishi asks Lakshmi to call him handsome. Lakshmi calls him handsome dude. Rishi says my beautiful babe, let's go, and they leave. Balwinder is about to give bouquet to Bani, but he turns hearing Shalu's voice. Bani tells Shalu that someone was calling her. Just then she called her. Shalu asks if it was Balwinder. Bani says I don't know. Balwinder thinks that he would have given the bouquet to Bani mistakenly. He sees a girl and he goes to her, but the girl slaps him and she goes, and Balwinder gets angry. Rishi hears Balwinder and comes to him. He sees Balwinder and he recalls Lakshmi's conversation with Shalu and Ayush. He says, Balwinder, you have come here again. Rishi takes Balwinder to his room and beats him, asking that why did he come? And Balwinder pleaded and says, let me think of what has happened. Bani hugs Lakshmi. Lakshmi says sorry and says once everything gets fine, then I will come and stay with you both. Bani and Shalu get happy. Bani asks Shalu if their sister and brother-in-law had a fight. Lakshmi says no, and Shalu asks Lakshmi not to ignore Malishka and says she might separate brother-in-law and you. Rishi asks Balwinder to tell him the truth, else he will beat him. Balwinder says don't beat me. Rishi asks what were you doing when Lakshmi's case was going on. Balwinder says he loves Lakshmi and he had gone to see her in court being worried about her. But Rishi beat Balwinder and he asks him not to talk about love. Balwinder says to Rishi that he is saying the truth. Rishi asks what were you doing in the hotel when that incident had happened. Balwinder thinks if Rishi saw the footage of the hotel's kitchen already. Rishi gets Virendra's call and says he is coming. Balwinder tells Rishi that he did not go to the hotel and says he doesn't remember when he went there last. Rishi says to Balwinder that he did not go to the hotel, then who had mixed the poison in the food? Balwinder says you have accepted that you poisoned the food. He says if I wanted to kill people, then would I have killed everyone? Rishi asks what he was doing in their house that night. Balwinder lies and he asks Rishi to confirm with his friends that he is innocent. Balwinder asks Rishi to make him drink water and he tries to run away, but the door is locked. Rishi says the door is having automatic lock. He says, I know that you have mixed the poison in the food to trap Lakshmi. Balwinder says I did not do it, and he thinks if he has to tell Rishi the truth, he thinks that he had come to kill Rishi, but he got trapped instead. Virendra says to Grandma that Rishi said that he is coming, but he is not here yet. Grandma says Lakshmi did not come till now too. Malishka comes there and asks Neelam to talk. Neelam tells Malishka that Rishi will do the Ravan ritual, but before that, Malishka will give Rishi the weapon, and also Malishka will do Rishi's tilak. Virendra says to Neelam that this is wrong. Malishka cannot do Rishi's tilak. Grandma says Lakshmi will give the weapon to Rishi and she will do his tilak. Neelam says Lakshmi is inauspicious and that is why she wants only a well-wisher and an auspicious girl like Malishka to do the ritual. She says she is telling them so that nobody should object when the time comes, and Virendra and Grandma get worried. Rishi asks Balwinder to confess about the hotel incident and he eats him. Balwinder falls on the bed. Rishi eats Balwinder very hard. Balwinder says he can also eat him. Rishi says, I will close my eyes, then you can eat me. Rishi closes his eyes. Balwinder gets a chance and he calls Malishka, but Malishka is not picking the call. Malishka is busy with Neelam and Kiran, and she tells Kiran that Neelam asked her to do the tilak and hand over the weapon to Rishi. Neelam says, you are auspicious for my son and for us. Malishka picks Balwinder's call. Rishi opens his eyes and throws the phone on the bed. Balwinder asks Rishi why did he bring him to his room, and he asks him to get him arrested instead. Malishka hears everything and she gets shocked. Balwinder apologized to Rishi and he thinks if Malishka heard him, he breaks the vase on Rishi's head. Rishi gets injury and tells him that he is sure that he has come here to do something wrong. Malishka comes to Kiran, but she goes from there seeing her busy, and Rishi says to Balwinder that I would hand over you to the police. Ayush asks Bani that where is she? Bani says I am in front of you. Ayush says I don't miss you due to Shalu. She comes alone to fight with me. Bani asks, are you both involved? Ayush says yes, and then he says no. Lakshmi smiles. Ayush asks Shalu why she praises him. Shalu says she praises him behind his back. Ayush asks where is Rishi? Lakshmi says Rishi might be with someone, and Ayush goes to call Rishi. Shalu says that Ayush is a fool, but Lakshmi says my brother-in-law is dearest to me. Malishka enters the kitchen through the window, and she thinks to do something and save Balwinder. Rishi says to Balwinder that you are behind my Lakshmi, and says I will kill you if you stand in front of her. Malishka in the kitchen thinks to burn something to open all the locks of the doors due to the fire alarm so that Balwinder can escape. Rishi eats Balwinder. Balwinder thinks that he did not get Lakshmi and he is getting beaten up for the witch. Malishka burns the papers and keep it near the fire alarm. She thinks that why is the fire alarm not ringing? Rishi says to Balwinder that you want to marry Lakshmi. Balwinder says yes, I want to marry Lakshmi. You are divorcing Lakshmi and you love Malishka. He asks Rishi to go and marry Malishka and says I will marry Lakshmi. Rishi and Balwinder have a fight. The door opens as the fire alarm rings. Balwinder runs out of the room. Rishi thinks that how did this happen because there was nobody at home. Malishka thanks God seeing Balwinder running and she thinks to cover up her act. She hides the burnt paper in the cover and runs out of the kitchen from the window. Rishi comes to the kitchen and he feels the smell of the papers and he looks outside the window but he couldn't find anyone, so he goes from there. Malishka is coming to Kiran. Kiran stops her saying Lakshmi. Malishka comes to Kiran after Lakshmi goes and she tells her that Rishi had caught Balwinder. Balwinder calls Malishka on the phone and says their partnership is over because Malishka was of no use to him. Malishka says she saved him using the fire alarm to open the door and she asks him to go away from there, else she cannot save him next time. Balwinder thinks that he will not go and he will do the work for what he has come here, and that is to kill Rishi by burning him alive. Kiran tells Malishka that Balwinder is becoming handcuffed for her and says he can get caught at any time. She says before Balwinder gets caught, he should get him trapped in a case. Malishka says, what if Balwinder take my name? Kiran says, who will believe him? Malishka says Ayush and Lakshmi will believe him. Kiran says Lakshmi and Ayush are harmless and says when you sacrifice Balwinder, then you will get Rishi for your marriage, and Balwinder's friend hears them. Lakshmi sees Rishi coming there and she sees injury on his forehead. She asks what happened to him. Rishi says Balwinder is here and says he came searching for him. Lakshmi tears her dupatta and ties it on Rishi's forehead. Rishi says his hairstyle should not be ruined. Neelam and others comes there and sees Rishi's forehead bleeding. Neelam asks, how did you get this injury? Lakshmi says Balwinder has come here. Rishi says something wrong is going to happen here. Grandma says we will see what Balwinder will do. Virendra says we will see. Karishma says Balwinder is a snake to have worked with us and now he is biting us. Malishka asks Rishi if he is fine and she shows her fake concern. Karishma says Balwinder had come here. Malishka pretends and she acts to be shocked. Rishi says he had caught Balwinder and he took him to his room, and then the door was opened and Balwinder ran away. He says, I was shocked, and says he took advantage and he ran away. Rishi says if I had caught Balwinder, then I would have made him confess the truth. Lakshmi asks if Rishi is fine or not. Grandma says Balwinder and his friends will be caught one day and says evil will end ultimately. Neelam asks Rishi to go inside for some time, but Rishi says that he is fine. Lakshmi says to Rishi that I will bandage you after applying the medicine. Rishi says the bandage is done, and he asks that what could be the best in the world than Lakshmi's dupatta bandage. He says he is getting strength from Lakshmi's dupatta, just like tying chuni for puja. He says you would apply tilak to me for the Ravan ritual, so the tilak will look nice on this bandage. Balwinder looks at the family secretly. Balwinder's friend comes to Balwinder and tells him that Kiran asked Malishka to sacrifice him. Balwinder is shocked and he says that he thought not to kill Rishi because he is Malishka's love, but now he will kill Rishi and Malishka together for Malishka's betrayal. Ayush comes to Rishi. Rishi tells him that Balwinder had come here and he fled. Ayush says he would have beaten him up. Rishi says, I want to know why he had come here. Ayush says Balwinder must have fled due to her and he is about to mention Malishka's name, but Lakshmi stops him. Rishi asks, did you take Malishka's name? But Ayush says no. Virendra comes there. Ayush asks Virendra to ask Rishi to go and rest and says he is not agreeing to Lakshmi's sayings. Rishi goes. Lakshmi tells Ayush that Rishi should not know that Malishka and Balwinder are working together. Lakshmi says if we tell Rishi, then he will tell Malishka and Malishka will be alerted. Then we can never catch her red-handed. Ayush says sorry and Lakshmi says that very soon our enemies will be punished and they will not be freed. Okay guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a like and check the comment section for the link to the next update once it is available. Thank you guys for watching. Bye guys.